Hey friends and fans, welcome back to the channel. Do you fancy a finale today? Well, how about we do one with FansProject Saurus Ryu-Oh, their take on DInoking, or Monstructor if you prefer. That's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True Review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, loud in my baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all my social media links, all of that in the description down below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube, baby. Become a channel member. And this is going to be our finale, our look at the combined mode of FansProject Saurus Ryu-Oh. Over the last couple of weeks, we have looked at all of the individual bots, as well as their pretender shells. All of that was afforded, and I'm so thankful for this, to us by friend of the channel, Razor Bear. I cannot thank him enough. Really can't. I'm a fan of DInoking, so that was the coloration I wanted, but a lot of people will know the character and the component parts better as Monstructor. And I kind of like the North American names better. It's my preference. I know how to say those words easier. It's as simple as that. But I do like the characterization and whatnot from the, I guess the actual cartoon that they appeared in. So mine's a weird mix and a weird melange, if you will. But we're going to see how well today they function as a unit when combined. How well did that actually turn out? We're also going to see the combined mode next to the pretender shells and all of my other Decepticon combiners. All of them. I don't know if there's any even missing now. I think I might have a version of every Decepticon combiner. I think. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this big boy. And here we have one final look at the entire team and their pretender shells. Some of the pretender shells have, a little bit of side-to-side movement at the head. None of them are able to move the legs. I think a couple might have some movement at the tail, nothing major. They all have stickers that came with them that are iffy at best. Then we have the actual robots that make up the Dino Force team. And all of them have Toyhax labels applied to them. It does enhance them. It does make them closer even to the G1, I'll say, toy release for these guys rather than the animation. Some of them are pretty close to the animation, but I don't think that's where the main homage was here. Nevertheless, this is a rarity to have a version of DInoking. Obviously, the colors are far more vibrant and wild if you have the Monstructor version. I'm going to try and kind of run through these pretty quickly. So, I guess we'll start right here at this end with the leader of the group. It's Dino Roku, or Go Ryu, or Ice Pick, if you will, with the Tyrannobot. Then next in we have Dino Go, and he is Scowl, and he has the Stegobot. Next to him is Dino San, or I believe it's Ryu, who is also known as, I think it's Bird Brain, and the Bronto Bot. Then we have Dino Shi. Dino Shi is with the Ankylobot, and the names Ryu and Bristleback. Then we have Dino Ni with the Pterobot, and Dino Ni is better known as Yoko Ryu or Wildfly. And then finally we have Dino Ichi, and Dino Ichi is with the Tricerabot, and Dino Ichi would be better known as Kakuryu or Slog. The funny part is the way the naming went, if I'm not mistaken, is by number. So Dino Ichi is actually Dino 1, Ni is 2, She is 3, San 4, Go 5, and Roku 6, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of how they go as a team. I think my favorite is Dino Oroku, or Ice Pick, if you will. This is the last time we're going to see them as individual bots. I like the set so far. Now, we've already seen the transformation, so I'm not going to go through them again. What we're going to see next is all of these guys prepared in their modes that they need to be in to combine. We'll see how they go together. But before we get to that, their blasters also go together. Now, I'll note before we get going here that there's a giant battle axe for this guy as well. I do not have the giant battle axe. That's the one thing that I don't have. I don't care. It is a cool axe, I suppose, but I don't particularly feel a need to have it. As for the blasters, and yes indeed, here in fact we do have the blasters as I said. These go together. Now I will note that I broke the handle off this one. I did try to fix it. It broke off again. Luckily there are 5mm pegs on either side so it can go held. I don't remember who owns which blaster now off the top of my head, but we'll make it through anyway. So we begin by taking this one, and though this is right side up, we turn it upside down and we push in the I guess the 4 barrels at the very front. Then we take this one, and I did not realize when I looked at it that this one also has a barrel that extends. Close that barrel in. And by rights, what you're supposed to do is use the handle here to go into a peg hole here and the handle here to go into a peg hole there. But guess what? That's not going to work. So we just use one peg hole. And we place it in like that. Then we can take this one, and we have these 2 rectangular nubs kind of on the back of the blaster. We take that and slot it on over the front thusly. If you want, and again I didn't realize you could do this, you can extend the barrel and make it even bigger. Then we take this one and flip in the handle, and this handle is what will be used by our combined mode lad. And we come down underneath here, and using this slot up right here, we put that in. And then finally we take these 2 and we close those barrels around, and which one goes on top? And then is it here? Okay, pardon the cut. I just had to see where these go. So we have a rectangular space here and a rectangular block there, and the handle here and a space here, so that these 2 fit together very snugly. Oh, very snugly. Like that. And now we have, there we go. Now we have a big circle here and a small circle here. We have 2 circles on the back of this blaster now. And boom, this is the big blaster that will be used by Saurus Ryu, or DInoking, if you will. It holds together quite well. There's also, as I said, the battle axe, which I don't have. What about the big boy himself? Well, we're just about there. These are the feet, but before we go to the big boy, I wanted to note that the toes can come up. I also wanted to note, again, that the heel does come up to show like blasters basically. And the way the ankle works, you have a left, you have a right, you have all the way around. I don't think there's a, there might be a little forward and back wiggle. I just wanted to point that out now. But more importantly, we pick up the toes. We come down here and we move that out of the way. It is really the thumb. And then we should be able to pick off a hand and put those toes back down for the foot mode. Same over here. We pick those up. We take that thumb out, And we pick that off as well. Now we have the feet, and we're going to have them on legs that look like this. And there you go. All we did was we took the foot and we kind of sandwiched it between what's essentially the knees. There's a rectangular tab on each side of the ankle, and it goes into two rectangular slots on each side of the knees, and that's what holds it together. And then you get, you know, a tilt this way or a tilt this way if you're so inclined, and the foot, of course, can go all the way around. And you can still kind of get up on the toes a little bit if you're so inclined. So you can do all of that. You can also, at this point, open out for the connector port. You can open out a little section on the back of these. The configuration that I plan to put these in is the configuration that DInoking was in the animation, which means all green on the left side and all blue on the right side. That's what I'm going to stick with. I don't think that's the actual configuration based on what FansProject wants, but that's what I'm going with. Also, while you can leave these heads out, I prefer when they are down myself. But I mean, that's just me, to each their own. Next, we take the lower torso bot. And the lower torso bot, of course, will go down into the two, like, kind of sections there. But you need to make sure that the little square piece is kind of positioned correctly. I'm going to show that up close just so you know how that's supposed to be positioned. Okay, so these little squares here are what's going to connect the lower body. One side has like 1, 2, 3 indentations. This needs to be on the back of the leg. This is what also rotates to give you basically your thigh swivel. So you really want to have these 3 on the back, because that's the way the leg is going to close around it. You push this down all the way, and then that back flap comes up and kind of sandwiches in between these two and the one on the top, and that's what is supposed to lock the leg in place. Okay, so now the lower legs, they are attached, and this is really as close as they're going to be able to get together, which is okay because luckily we have the feet able to do an A stance. Then using this square peg, and this little round peg on the back here, we're able to attach the upper torso. The upper torso, just so you're aware again, and I'll kind of bring this in here to show it, we have a square here and a square here, and we have a little peg right there. I'm going to at least start to try and put this on here. Don't be surprised if there's a cut. Trying to get this to actually solidify on. We'll do as best we can. Maybe it'll go on really easily. Truth is, it's not that hard to get the connections generally to connect. It's just a matter of lining everything up. I have to solidify it and I have to back up because the guy's getting tall, but we're getting there, man. Okay, so now that we've got the top solidified on, which was pretty easy to do, honestly, you just line them up, they're all pretty solid connections, and you push them down, and that's it. Then we come to, now, the arms. This arm, by rights, I think is supposed to be on the other side based on like the official configuration, but again, I'm doing this to match the animation, so it's going to go in on this side. There's a connector peg here. I don't like these wings like this, so I turn them like this, bring them out, and fold them in. That's my preferred way of doing it. I sometimes even angle them up a little bit like that. So, rotate around, out, and in. That's the way I prefer it. Then, the hand section comes down here, and it should notch in like that, and then this round peg goes into a round section here on the shoulder, like that. And finally, we take the other hand and put it on the exact same way. It just kind of pegs on over, and then using the other circle and using the circle here on the other side. I don't think that went all the way in. There. Oh, man. That's what I get for trying to put that other arm on when I'm on this side of the guy and not looking at it. But in the end, boom, here we have DInoking in all of his glory. Boy, oh boy, does this look imposing. I absolutely love this. I think it looks fantastic. Just to give you an idea, I mean, the guy is definitely kind of thick. The backpack, not nearly as egregious as what I figured it was going to be. Around this way, it's fairly clean. Like, considering we have these claw pieces, for example, and these feet, like, I figured it was going to be worse than it is, but it's not bad. This side, of course, and then back around to the front. Okay, let's get into scores for this guy before we see some of the comparisons and kind of like interactivity and whatnot. So, the feet should be black, indeed they are. A lower leg should be red, a lower leg should be, blue, a lower leg should be green. For the most part, yeah, they are. Not as solid of a blue and a green as the animation, but pretty close. The thighs should be white, the thighs are white. The pelvis here is a dark, like, blue, but it should be black. But you know what? I'm okay with it. The abdomen should be a, like, whitey color, basically, like the thighs. It basically is, even though the sides are blue, but I'm okay with that. The head and the chest, yeah, that looks pretty accurate. Maybe the head here, this beast head is out further than it should be, but the red on the sides, the gold, the bluish color on the head, all that looks right. This arm over here, again, I mean, you know that there's wings there, but they're not stuck out crazy far. It's a mix of blue and basically whitish gray. Yeah, that's accurate. Hand is black. Same on the other side. Hand is black. It's mostly green. A little bit more white over there, but it makes sense, honestly. If you know the character, then this is pretty darn accurate to him. I'm gonna say that this is a solid 8.5 to the animation for sure. Honestly, same thing really to the like G1 Japanese release as well, that G1 Japanese toy, except on the G1 Japanese toy you do have the two arms switched sides. But yeah, this is really accurate. 8.5, 9, I'll say 8.75. Then we get to the transformation. Honestly, easy to get here. I probably made it look harder than it needed to be. It's really not. It's just a matter of connecting things up, and the connections are pretty easy. I'm going to say that's a 10. He feels quite solid. What about the articulation? 8.5 and a 10. I mean, the guy right now is about a 9.3 or so. It's a really well done combiner. What about the articulation for the guy? The head can go left and right and look up because of the transformation hinge. Not much down, but we do have an ab crunch on the guy, so he's able to look way down actually. We do have a waist. It's hindered by stuff on the back, but you know, if you move things, you can get it for sure. The arms, get that wing kind of out of the way. The arms can go all the way around on both sides. There is a swivel on both sides and just shy of 90 degrees, pretty darn close to it on both sides. You got to remember when you do the arms though, and I did forget this when I done the individual bots, but extend the waist. The waist extension is what gives you a bit of a deeper elbow. The wrist can rotate. The thumb is on a ball joint. Each finger is on a ball joint, individually articulated, and then one, if not two knuckles, certainly one for sure. There's a rectangular tab on each hand. That's how he's going to hold his accessories. The other arm, the exact same thing, honestly. The ab crunch I did, the swivel I did, and the outward movement. You can do that all the way on both sides as well. This one over here, not hindered by anything either. The legs here, can't really go back because of junk that's back here, but that's minor, I think. Can go well out to the side, no problem. Can this hip skirt piece. It can move. We can go all the way up on the front and like it holds it, like nice ratchet for doing that. We have a swivel that's really at the knee, as I talked about with that square. We have ankles, of course, that can go left and right. The toes can go up, so you can actually get him in kind of a walking position. The knee, I wish the knee was better. You can see that the knee came out here. I don't find the knees are the best. I find a lot of times when I want to bend the knee, I end up, rather than bending the knee, I end up kind of having the knee pop out. Yeah, the knees could be a bit better, honestly. Maybe, is this knee better over here? I feel like it's not going to be. Maybe that knee's a bit better. Maybe I gotta fiddle with the connection on this other knee. Under 90 degrees though, because of all of the stuff. It'll get you what you need, but the knees could be a little bit better. I'm going to say, like I said, I need to fiddle with this knee a bit more. It's good. It is solid. It stands really well. It'll get you most of the poses I think that you're going to want from it. I'm going to say that his articulation overall is about, if those knees were a little bit better, that's the only thing I could ask for. I'm going to say about an 8.5. He was like getting a 9.3. Overall, I'm going to say he's about an 8.75. Here he is with all of his pretender shells. So I fiddled with that leg for a moment and I got it to lock in. I didn't have it locked in properly. Still, the limitation is there for the knee where it can't go to 90 degrees because of the bulk on the back. But you know what? Again, he's in a fairly dynamic pose there now. His knees are bent, his hips are out. He's able to hold his big blaster, hold it out to blast things. Here he is with all of his pretender shells around him. What a fearsome force. But you know what the real fearsome force is here? This is what I've been waiting for so long, man. I love this force. I mean, I think I've got every Decepticon combiner there now, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but going from one side here to the other, and I know there's a lot there. You can see that our boy basically fits in with Combiner Wars combiners. If he is ever so slightly shorter, he is definitely bulkier, but I mean, he fits in here, no problem. We have God Neptune, and in front of God Neptune we have my custom Lio Kaiser. Then behind Lio Kaiser and next to God Neptune we have Combiner Wars Menasor. A lot of people have talked about an upcoming Menasor possibly being in the works. Unless it can fit in size-wise with all these guys, then I'm not interested. I'm not going in for a new size of combiners and having to redo all this. Nuts to that. In front of, or next to Menasor, we have Devastator. In front of Devastator, we have DInoking. Next to DInoking, we have my custom Death Source, who I have as a combiner for now. Then behind Death Source, I believe, we have Bruticus. Next to Bruticus, we have the Unique Toys Warlord, their version of Predaking. In front of Predaking, we have King Poseidon. Next to King Poseidon, we have Abominus. And then we have all of the Pretender dinosaur shells. I would not want to be an Autobot force having to see this coming at them. This is a formidable set of combiners to be coming at any Autobot resistance. In the end, is he a perfect combiner? No. Is he a strong combiner? Yes. Does he have presence? Yes. Does he look the part? Absolutely, if you know DInoking. I'm happy with him. But my collection is geared around that kind of combiner war size. If that's not what yours is geared around, that's not the size that you have gone for, then this won't be the guy for you. He is tremendous as a mainline combiner with great presence and look on the shelf. He looks right. The articulation is generally there. I wish the knees were deeper, but that's about it. And to get in this mode and the transformation is actually quite easy. But the size is going to be the story. He works for me, but he's not going to work for everybody. And here we are once again, and I don't have him in my hand because there's a lot, right? So what can I say? I like the Pretender shells. No, they don't really do much. Some of them have limited head articulation where you can turn it side to side, or the tail can turn, but generally they're fairly static. Still, they look great and they do function as Pretender shells, as a Pretender shell should, so I'm very, very happy to have them. I think generally they were done well. The material used feels thick and robust. I think as time has gone on, I think it is indeed vinyl, and I wouldn't want to leave it to the elements because I think it will warp, but they're great for what they are. And then we get to the combine mode. Individually, I think all 6 robots work quite well, tremendously well, especially now, some years removed from when they originally released. They work as great deluxes. They fit in nicely with my other deluxes from the main line, even though they do kind of have their own aesthetic, but I'm okay with that because at least the aesthetic matches across the entire team. The Toyhax labels, they enhance all of those bots by giving them added detail that very much matches their original G1 toy releases. The conversions are fairly simple but involved enough to be interesting and not too frustrating. As a combiner, he matches quite well with my Combiner Wars combiners. I'm quite happy with that. He might be slightly shorter, but he definitely has more bulk, and that makes me feel like he's a big, tough bruiser. It's unfortunate that I don't have the big axe, but I will certainly live without it. It's neat that all the blasters can go together to make one big blaster. I like that. And I do like the articulated fingers and the articulated ankles and whatnot. He can actually score some pretty good poses, even though he's as bulky of a lad as he is. On the whole, I think he is an absolute success. I think FansProject did a great job with the DInoking version. I would assume that it is an equally great job with the Monstructor version, though I have heard some complaints about the quality of the plastic used there. If the quality of the plastic used there matches the quality of the plastic from the DInoking use, then I don't see any reason to not get it. It was, is, and maybe ever will be a fantastic combiner. Bravo, FansProject. Let me know what you think about this version of DInoking, or Monstructor if you will. I appreciate you guys coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, man. Have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.